How's it going?
Oh, not bad. I'm here with Calem MacDonald, and saw the Kids versus Aliens, and that's it's quite a fun movie. I think kind of reminded me a lot of Goonies in some ways, and
Yeah.
Psycho Goreman in other ways. What brought you on to Kids versus Aliens?
Yeah, just like any newish actor starting out, just got an audition. It was luckily for something that was local. I live in Nova Scotia and it was shot in Nova Scotia. So yeah, auditioned and had a meeting with Jason and you know ended up booking the role. So yeah, it was great because it's just down the road from where I live, about 20, 30 minutes. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. We shot in Dartmouth and Fall River, and at Jason's parents' house. So yeah, it was great. It was a great timing. For me, I had a little bit of hesitancy just with school. I was in school at the time in university, and I wasn't completely sure if I wanted to do the role, just because I wanted to graduate on time, and I was a little behind in some classes just with work and stuff. So
Yeah.
met with Jason, and he sold me on the film, and I knew I needed to do it.
What were you going to school for?
I go to school, or I went to school at Mount Allison University in New Brunswick, Canada, and I took a Bachelor of Science in Aviation. So it was like pilot's licenses.
Okay.
So I have my private or commercial pilot's license now, and then like instrument rating and multi-engine rating. So it was a 4-year program, and now I'm going back to school. And what day is it today? Wednesday? Wednesday. Oh, back to school on Monday. Back to school on Monday
I
for
haven't had enough
instructor
coffee,
rating.
so.
Yeah.
Had with the pilot's license, that's how long do you got to train for that to be able to? Because I saw you had a YouTube video and you have some stuff of you flying on there. How long do you have to train for that before you can go up on your own?
Yeah, well, I graduated with about 200 hours of flight time, and that was able to get me all the ratings and licenses that I just mentioned. But some people can do, the same, get the same licenses and ratings that I have. They can do it in about a year. If
Yeah.
you're doing it, banging it out, you can do it in about a year. But for
Yeah.
me, it took 4 years of 4 years of schooling, but 3 years of flight training. The first year is just university stuff, and then starting in your second year, you start to do the flight training. So it took me about 3 years.
Yeah. Is any of that gonna maybe kind of parlay into your acting or vice versa? Well,
I love it.
I don't know how acting helps flying, but
No, I love it.
I could see in Top Gun 3.
And I'm so jealous when I went and saw that in theaters, and knowing that they're in actual planes was the coolest thing ever. So I'm like I'd love to do that. Like it's so, and I don't usually get envious of like actors or people that much, but seeing that on the big screen, I was like, damn, like I want to be in the back of an F-18. That's the coolest, like literally a dream. That's the coolest thing ever. So hopefully one day, I could either, since the commercial pilot means that you can get paid to fly. So
Yeah.
I could potentially fly for, a movie, or fake fly. I don't need a license for that, but to really fly, that'd be really cool. That'd be great.
Yeah. Also, regarding your nuts. Hold on. Regarding your character in Kids versus Aliens, you're one of those characters you want to reach through the screen and choke the crap out of, because your character is such a. Is there a bit of I don't know what the word is? Schadenfreude is not the right word. That's the exact opposite word. But is there something about that, like you get to play? You don't come across in real life, so I'm guessing that you get to release some of that through the parts that you play.
Yeah, no, it's great it's a good like therapy. You let all your anger out on set screaming at people. But no, I'd like to say that I'm not a bad guy like Billy. I've worked with a lot of people on that set. That Nova Scotia is pretty tight knit with the film community. So a lot of those people are my friends, behind the scenes, a lot of the crew members, and they've worked on plenty of other things with me. And if I acted like that, I don't think I'd be working in Nova Scotia anymore.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was great to, kind of to play that character and to just kind of let things out that, maybe you're holding up inside of you for a little bit. You just,
Yeah.
it's like scream therapy, like in the woods.
Also your co-stars, they're pretty young. How does that go behind the scenes? Like you guys got to like talk a lot, go, look, we're this is fine, or do they just know what time it is and just go for it?
It depended on the day. because I forget how old they were, the Dominic, Asher, and Ben, but when you get three kids that age together, it's, they want to just do other things and play, in the corner, you know, get a little bit rowdy. But when the cameras were rolling, like they were like bang on. They were so good. Um, it was tough sometimes too, because at that age, I think even Phoebe was at this age where if you're under a certain age, you need to get I forget the amount of hours, but X amount of schooling per day. So you could only be on set for a certain amount of time. So sometimes they would be just taking, if we're setting up a shot, they would take them away to get tutoring for a couple hours. And that was a little tough, I know, on Jason, crew members, and kind of keeping the momentum in scenes. But, when the cameras were rolling, they were bang on. They were brilliant to work with, really professional. They were good.
Yeah. I also saw you did some work on Trailer Park Boys, and I believe the director Jason Eisner worked on Trailer Park Boys. Do you guys get to work on that together previously?
I don't think we worked together. No, I did a couple days on that show. I forget. I think it was 2018 or 2017. Did a couple days on that show. Just really quick days. Like, it was one of my first roles that I ever booked. Lucky to book it, and no, it was a great learning experience. Got to work with some cool people from the show. Yeah, it was great, like foot in the door to start this career. And yeah, it was, yeah, every experience. I remember those 2 days vividly. I remember when I was starting acting, every single day I'd be on set. I'd like remember the whole day because of how like amazing, like how much fun I was having, and how much I wanted to do it again. I would like remember the whole day and like just be like fingers crossed like I can book another role. So thankfully I've been fortunate enough to book some work since then. So, but yeah, it was a great foot in the door. It was a really classic Nova Scotian TV show.
Yeah. What got you into acting to begin with?
My parents are in the film industry, and I've kind of been around it forever. So my dad's a camera operator. So being on set with him, he would invite the family to come hang out on set for a bit, and just seeing how everything worked and like the mystery behind it all. And I was just kind of like, I just kind of thought it was the cool, like super, super cool, just being on film sets and making art, making films, making TV shows was super cool. And I think just acting just piqued my interest. So when I was like 13 or 14, I asked my parents, can I do some acting classes, maybe get into this? I think it'd be fun. And they were all for it, and started doing some acting classes, and was lucky enough to book some work in the area, and kind of kept going from there.
That's fun. Do you have any ambitions to do anything else in film? Like you said your dad's a cameraman, like anything like that, or maybe writing or editing or anything like that?
I've done some work in the past few years behind the scenes, as sometimes the acting gigs aren't coming along very much. And I loved, I liked working in film. So I was doing a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, like, but I really like acting. I love it a lot. And I'm interested in directing, maybe down the line, making something on my own with my friends. But I'm just so interested in acting. I think it's so fun, and such a nice creative outlet for me to kind of get away and do something and portray a character. It just piques my interest a lot. I'm not really sure why. It's hard to, I've thought about that a lot, like kind of why do I like things? Why do people just enjoy things and in general? And it's just hard to kind of explain why I like acting so much, just playing pretend maybe as a kid a lot or something like that. But yeah, it's just passion, and I just love it a lot.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite roles that you've done so far? Like, have you got any roles that you really got the kind of stretch, and are there any roles that's like, oh, I would love to play this kind of role someday?
I think, well, for the roles that I've played so far, each of them have had like different lessons that I've learned from it. So Kids vs. Aliens was like one of the most fun I've had on set, because of the set environment. Jason made it so amazing, so energetic all the time. When I did a few days on Umbrella Academy, and that was great to kind of learn how, bigger sets work with a bigger crew and a bigger cast, and in a different city. That was out in Ontario and Toronto. And there's another show that I work on, Moonshine, that, working with an amazing cast and amazing crew, how that can change, your day-to-day filming experience and just working in general. But yeah, I'm grateful for any opportunity that comes my way, and I'm open. What I liked about Kids versus Aliens, that it was so different from the things that I've worked on in the past. So any opportunities that I get in the future, I love to just expand my my resume and play different characters that I haven't played before. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm looks like we got to wrap up, but I do want to end. My co-host Bruce we have a segment called What's in the Box, and Bruce has a box, and in that box is a bunch of different movies that people put in. I would like you to put a movie in this box, and they're usually movies that either maybe it's a movie that's personal to you, or a movie that you like, or maybe just a movie that's like, you know what, this movie is really good and no one talks about it. I wish more people would see it.
Ooh. I always try to think of movies, and I always have trouble. I'll do a one that I usually do. It's a little basic. The Dark Knight. I really like that movie, but the reason I do is because when we were kids, we would drive about 2.5 hours to my grandparents' house or wherever we would be going, and in the back of my dad's truck, he had one of those like flip down movie screens in the back. So we'd sit back there with our headphones on, and pop a movie, and we only had a few, a couple different animated movies, and eventually we had The Dark Knight. I don't know how old we were, but must have been over 9 or 10, but we'd watch that like so many times, and I couldn't even really understand some of it because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, time jumpy and a little bit weird. But just the performances I thought were so good, especially obviously Heath Ledger. He was great. But yeah, that's just a movie that I just like love so much, and it's just ingrained in me because I've watched it so many times. I just grew up watching it. So I don't know if I feel like that might have already been in the box though.
No, I don't believe it's in the box. Surprisingly enough.
I know it's a little not too niche, but that'll be my pick.
It's personal to you, not to everybody else. Yeah. It's personal to you, and that's kind of the point of it. But thank you, Calem, for joining me today. And you've been real fun. And I really enjoyed the movie, and hopefully everyone gets to go see it.
Great, thank you.
This is CinemAddicts.